not have a good enough perception, or if they're not seeing well enough, or if they're not given a good enough example, then they still go to heaven. So what would be the point of telling anybody?
Well, I actually haven't been talking about going to heaven or going to heaven.
Okay, the way it just seems like if you're actually making the claim that by presenting with let's take your specific thing, if you're making the claim that if somebody gives a very clear demonstration and where their eyes would be clear enough, if they choose to accept it, they still choose not to. Okay. If by doing so they have presented a choice between heaven and hell because they have been given the clear vision, but they choose to go against it. Are you advocating that the person was going to heaven before that, but since they were given like the vision enough, that the clear-sightedness enough, that they are now going to hell because they were presented with that choice? Okay. But they were they going to heaven before? So it's kind of a two-part question.
Okay. And my response is that I only know or claim to know that which I have some basis from Scripture for. Okay. I don't really know how souls should be judged. I'm not a creator. Okay. At that level, but the going to hell is promised in the Quran for the kafir. Okay, that's one who rejects. Okay, one who rejects. And you cannot be a rejector until it has been so clear, okay, that you consciously reject, okay? Now, as far as what happens for those who haven't been presented with a clear, I don't have Scripture on which to say I'm reporting you exactly what the Quran said. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like there's like three different groups of people that you're like people who have seen and chosen the affirmative, people who have seen and reject, and people who are in the middle. And you have positions for like people that reject and people that say yes, but not the ones that have not been given a clear enough vision. And it's just a curiosity of mine. I've never heard the Islamic perspective on it.
And if it's in a verse that I'm not remembering, I just apologize. Okay. But like you said, that middle picture. Okay, I don't actually have a verse in my mind.
And I really respect that you're actually using verses and not your own personal opinions, because when people use their own personal opinions, they can just pull anything out their butt they want.
Right, and I think that a lot of times when religious people say these people are going to hell for being atheists or whatever, I don't know if you remember the handout that I gave you, and the guy said, list the reasons,
yes,
for why atheists, people say that atheists are going to hell or whatever. I'm not exactly sure the title of it, but it says, well, people are atheists because they just want to be rebellious, they want to get out here and sin and everything like that. And the guy's response was, well, if I'm doing that, being an atheist, just a sin, I'm doing a bad job of it. Because I got marriage, I'm married, and I got children, and I got a nice job, and I give to a homeless shelter. So if I want to be atheist, just a sin, then, not doing a really good job of it. And I think that a lot of times people don't have a clear understanding of people, like what we talked about today. They think that, they have all these preconceived ideals, So let me ask you one question. Actually, I have two concerns about what we talked about. A person emailed me a question about babies dying, and they said to a certain effect that from what they've been told with religious people, that babies automatically go to heaven because they haven't sinned, so if they die, because there's no reincarnation. And basically they're saying, well, if basically a baby gets a free ride and they think it's fair, because why should I have to spend 70, 80 years on this earth and I have to resist sin and choose a religion and choose the right religion, but a baby dies and his soul goes straight up to heaven. Unless reincarnation is true, that's not fair. So
that kind of goes along with the question I had. Like it's kind of like an innocent soul,
right?
And someone that is maybe 15, 20 years old that still has not been presented with the clear vision or been presented with the choice. It's a Christian perspective that usually just puts it. It's almost like it just kind of goes along with the same thing. It's the innocent soul, the soul that has not been presented with the evidence or the choice. So it's kind of the same question.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
I was thinking the same.
Right.
But somebody needs to warn the babies about all these haters. Hating on their innocence.
Another concern, you were talking about it earlier, I don't know how to word this, but in the Bible, like he was talking about, there's certain things in Leviticus, if a child is rebellious, you should stone him to death. And the Quran, it does say some sort of questionable things, you know, if you bear false witness against somebody, that you should get a certain amount of lashes and things of that nature. And I was reading the Quran, Yusuf Ali, and he was saying in the commentary that, you know, you have to reinterpret the religious scriptures for every culture in which you live. Do you agree with that?
Well, I'm not taking Yusuf Ali's commentary too seriously one way or another.
Okay.
But the point is, you look at it from the other point of view. Here I am, I'm living, and it's the year 2010.
Okay.
So I either think or I don't think.
Okay.
So if I, by reverse, look at how somebody in Iraq interpreted it 1,100 years ago,
Okay.
and just copy, that means I chose not to think, I'm just going to copy. Okay? So that's that same question, I think, from another point of view. Okay? I think we said earlier that the Quran encourages people to think.
Okay.
So when you read the scripture, you have to think. What is this calling me to do?
So you would actually say that if your fellow Islam people would actually say this is the incontrovertible, ultimate word, never changing word of Allah, you would openly disagree with them. So that this is not open to interpretation, because I've actually heard Islam imams talk in that respect.
Well, I don't know for sure what that means. You might have to give me some explanation.
It's kind of like the deontological position, like this is true, it always will be true, no interpretation. It's the fundamentalist.
Well, I hear you, but you know, I think what I have in mind might be different what somebody else has in mind. Okay, I'm thinking in terms of the Quran and speaking in terms of, you know, universal, timeless truths. Okay, but someone else might be thinking in terms of the application of a certain strategy, and that's not what I have in mind.
Okay.
So I'm thinking in terms of the Quran as being timeless,